Hey Rich, so what are we doing today?
So you're on a desert island.
Right.
You can take 3 games with you. You can have any system, anything like that, but there's no online multiplayer.
Right.
There's no more future updates, no more bug fixes. You just have the games as they are. You pick 3. Go.
What's the island like? Is it like the Isle of Wight?
No, it's like, you know that cartoon, just cartoon.
Is it like Wales that Scott thinks is an island?
Oh, don't interrupt me in the video. Oh, just let me talk, he says.
What's the island like?
Come in.
Think of a sandy island with a single palm tree and 3 coconuts.
Classic,
like
right.
a proper old school desert island.
What's the, get out of it. What's the PC specs?
It's the top of the range stuff. You've got top of the range PC with all the consoles, whatever you may need to play.
What's the power supply?
Oh my God!
I'm asking the question! Okay, so I would choose my 3 games, Kerbal Space Program, because I would use that to engineer my escape using the palm tree and the coconuts as some sort of propulsion device. I would then choose Cooking Mama to learn how to best cook my coconuts / escape vehicle. I'd have to go on which would be more important at the time. Probably would also double as a toilet as well. Again, I'd have to think about that, and these 2 would help me solve that problem. And the 3rd game, SSX3, because it's a banger.
Well, I kind of thought it through a little bit similar to how Jules did in terms of like the actual application of the lessons you learn from these games that you can take through to an actual desert island. So I think my first one will be Don't Starve, because that game is humongous and is all about, you know, survival tactics and trying to find different ways to get through the night. You've still got to be terrified of everything that's like, you know, going to come out at night, but you can build campfires and different machines and go learn how to fight. And it's procedurally generated, so there's a hell of a lot of content there for you as well. My second thing will be Shovel Knight, because I need something that is going to keep my morale sky high. And if Shovel Knight can get through his little journey and save Shield Knight, then, you know, even on my darkest days when I'm getting nibbled by crabs or whatever it is, I can go back to that game and, you know, get going again. And at the end, my 3rd game, I need something that I'm never going to finish. So the new Assassin's Creed Odyssey should be there, because I'm never going to, I've been on that for 20 hours and I've barely even scratched the surface. So I want something that, you know, ticks a lot of boxes for base staple game mechanics, but it's just infinite. What?
It came out yesterday.
I got on Friday, yesterday, I haven't done it since Friday.
20 hours.
Where have you been? That kind of game is just so infinitely humongous and, you know, never ending that I think you could put a good 300, 400 hours into it and, you know, make it out of the tutorial. So I think I would do that.
So I was thinking about this a little bit differently to Scott and Jules, and was thinking just about the sheer amount of time I would have to play games and what sort of things I would want to fill my time, because am I going to be able to build a hut or a working toilet or anything or find food? So I might as well just get as much gameplay as I can out of 3 games before I inevitably pass away and float off into the sea to my death after I've already passed away. I'm dead, is what the bottom of this is I'm going to die on the island. It's not going to work for me. So let's fill up the time with fun things that I can. And the way I got to the bottom of this was, I think, something that sandbox sort of play, which would be Minecraft, because I love Minecraft. I don't care how nerdy that is. It is great. And you can endlessly build things. And at least in that game, I can find food and actually create stuff and adventure and everything, rather than my sad Wilson experience on this castaway island. And then the next game I was thinking would be The Witcher 3, because it is massive and there is so much map to explore, and it is like, it's close to my heart. I love Geralt. Geralt can keep me company on the island, that's fine. I'm fine with that. And then the final game would be Bloodborne, because it's hard as balls and I haven't finished it or even played it properly, because anything that's really too difficult. So that would actually drive me to finally finish it and play it properly. But I wouldn't have Rach with me from the stream, so it'd be very upsetting. Maybe it would just be too emotional playing Bloodborne. I don't know, but I'd give it a go. So there you go. That or Dark Souls or something equally depressing and hard and difficult, and that I wouldn't probably play normally, but would have the time to on this bastard desert island.
This really surprised me because I thought this would be a harder decision. I thought I'd be spending ages racking my brain as to what to take, and then as soon I picked out 3 and was like, yep, I wouldn't change any of those. First one is Planet Coaster, because yeah, I can sink hours and hours and hours and hours and hours into that game, and it takes me to a world of my creation and like irrelevant of being on a desert island or not, I want to be walking around my own theme parks. My life sucks that much. I just put myself in my little theme park, and being on a desert island all alone, I'm even more depressed. So Planet Coaster is pick number 1. Pick number 2 is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, because it's great and I've sunk over 100 hours into that, and I don't really know how because it's Mario Kart, but I love it. I just play against bots and it's fun. And then finally it will be Call of Duty Black Ops 3 with all the DLCs installed, because I can just play zombies again for just hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours on end. It's quite easy to choose those 3 because they're pretty much my 3 most played games right now anyway. So it's quite easy really.
I'm going down the Ash approach and just going for games that I could just play over and over again, or games that I'm like never likely to finish. I'll start by saying I'll bring Dark Souls 3 because I just feel like it's one of the most replayable games ever. I could just like play that over and over and over again and have a different experience each time, but with the same world. So what I would then bring along to counter that would be a game that I could play over and over again and have completely different experiences each time in completely different worlds, and that would be The Binding of Isaac. It's a roguelike, which means everything's totally different each time, plus I'd get really, really good at it, and I've always really wanted to be really good at Binding of Isaac, because it's really, really hard. So I bring those 2. And I'd also bring Breath of the Wild, because it's massive, and maybe I'd finally actually get every single Korok seed. I mean, depending if I live that long on the island, maybe I would get every single 900 Korok seeds. So yeah, that's the plan for me.
So I was thinking along the same lines as Ash and not Scott and Jules. I'm not going to be on this island very long because I can barely survive in Newcastle on my own. Never mind on a desert island with no hairspray, because what's the point in living if there is no hairspray? So I'm going to take Fallout New Vegas because I have mentioned that before in one of these videos. I think it was my most replayed game of all time. That is just brilliant. And I think it works in 2 ways. Not only is it a great open world game that I can play for hours and hours and hours, but it's got a kicking, banging soundtrack that will keep me company. I could just play that while I'm eating crabs, climbing trees, knocking over pumpkins. I don't know what's on an island, probably something like that. So that's gonna be one of them. My second is Crash Bandicoot 2, which is like the best Crash Bandicoot game. I can play that all the way through. I platinumed that and then started it again immediately after. It's just so good. And that also takes place on a tropical island, so I'll get the feel for the environment. I'll get to show my new friends the game. We'll bond, we'll take turns, it'll be awesome. And my third game will be No Man's Sky, because I haven't really played that as of now, but I imagine I could literally play that forever. And why not, if I'm on this desert island before my time comes to an end and I'm with Ash and I'm in the sea floating away, I can imagine going to brand new galaxies and brand new planets and discovering things rather than actually having to put the effort in and do it where I'm stranded right now.
Pumpkins, Josh!
I was trying to say Coconuts! Coconuts, that was the one.